Misty!
Okay, so let's run through a few things. So obviously we blocked the 7 with Big Bertha, our airfoil and long blocks down to the point using the existing paint as a guide coat, because obviously the paint's nothing without decent prep. Was it overkill? Not at all. Not for this level. Alright, so we blocked and prepped the original paint. Went straight through the crappy paint job that was on before to the original paint job, and in most places like doors and quarters we went beyond because it just wasn't flat enough. We then put it straight into the booth. We then used Standox epoxy primer over the bare metal areas. We then put 3 coats of Evercoat Slick Sand, which is a polyester primer. We then blocked that with 80 and 120. I knew as it was blocking that we would have to do more coats, and obviously you want to do more coats of the polyester, not of the high build, because the high build, any more than 3 coats and you're going to start getting shrinkage. I mean, it shrinks anyway as a product. Some shrink minutely and the cheaper ones shrink fucking dramatically. So we've gone epoxy, we've gone polyester, we then blocked it, we've then done the polyester again. So we've built our surface, blocked it back. Obviously we've got where we're going through the metal on the sides, but the center's still not quite there. So another few coats of the polyester, blocked it again, excuse me, and then it was perfect. We weren't really coming through in any of the places, and well, as you saw, it was just beautiful. So we've then gone from the polyester, then we've gone to the high build to seal that sort of area in, and if I mean, usually polyester doesn't absorb, but if it did or whatever, like I said, we're eliminating. So we put 3 coats of high build on. We then blocked and blocked and blocked and blocked. So now we're at the point where the big flat surfaces are done. They're super smooth, and the beauty with the Standox epoxy primer that we're using is you can either use it wet as a sealer, or you can use it as a sealer primer surfacer. So you can do 2 or 3 coats, bake it off, and then you can wet flat it. And I've always said the best surface for paint is a wet sanded primer surface. You will not get better than a primered wet flattened surface for your base coat. So we've got epoxy at the beginning, obviously, because you know epoxy contains superior adhesion. It contains the sort of the acid etch based inside of it, but it's not as harsh. So we've gone that at the beginning. We've also now going that at the end. All right, so that area, all that hard work that we've done, all that blocking, all that smoothing, that is now sandwiched, that is now protected, that is done, that is dusted, that is sealed. We can then now go ahead and wet flat that epoxy with 600 wet. We are then ready for base. So you can see there's a lot of work gone in before we've even hit it with paint. If this was like a standard outside repaint or just a standard run-of-the-mill paint, then we could either use our wet on wet, or we could use our epoxy primer as a sealer, shoot a couple coats of that, and then go straight over with base. Do you see what I'm saying? So it depends on the level of finish you're trying to achieve, but this is for a perfect show car finish. It's tested me, like it has really tested me. You can't hide this with like flakes and candies and pearls. This is a white paint job. There's nothing to fucking hide. So you have to be absolutely on it, which is why, you know, we pulled all the stops out. We ordered the best and the best and the best. You know, we've got, like I said, the Standox epoxies and the standard Standox base coats. So we're not mixing and matching any of our brands. So it's taken a lot of work to get just to where we are now, and we've still got one more stage to go. So I've got to mix up some epoxy primer as a sandable primer, not as a sealer, and then we'll be blocking that with 600 wet to get it perfect. So the beauty with this, oh, it's in there warming up. The beauty with this Standox primer, which is the U2200 Standox primer surfacer, is that depending on how much reducer you add and whether you bake it or not, means it's either a sealer, because it's got like a 16-hour window, so you've got a sealer, or you've got a primer, if that makes sense. So we can mix it, go in there, do a couple of coats, stand back, look, do we need to do one more, are we happy with where we're at, and then bake it off. So like I said, it's been a lot of work, and we've not shown almost half. I mean, if we put this into hours, I'd hate to think, but we've not even videoed half of this at all. But you can do this at home. This is the crazy thing. If you've got a nice garage, you know, well ventilated, you've got a bit of heat and whatnot, it may take longer, but there is nothing stopping you doing this level at home. You've just got to be really anal about the whole thing. That's why we went and got the Durablocks, you know, and the soft sanders, because they're the best on the market. And you want to sand everything by hand. Yes, machines are good, machines are fine, but nothing will replace those at all. So the perfect paint job is block, block, block. Use your epoxy primer as a wet. So you literally spray your epoxy down over the bare metal and whatnot, half an hour to an hour, and then go on with your polyester. Alright, 3 nice coats of polyester. Bake it. Leave it, alright, for 24 to 48 hours. Don't rush it. Let it settle. And then block, 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 block. Every time you've made one pass, re-guide coat and block again, re-guide coat and block again. The whole crisscross motion, the big 36-inch block we've got, I get Kurt on the end. So it needed to go, so it went back in. More polyester, which doesn't shrink. It is a proper polyester high build, and it does not shrink. That's why everybody who's anybody will use a polyester when it comes to this level, or when they're doing restorations. So block, 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 done that. Then primed everything, high build prime everything, sealed it all up, ready to be sort of sanded and checked and double checked, so we know we're good. And then now back in with our epoxy, but we're not dry sanding. Even though we've prepped to 400 for our epoxy, we're not dry sanding. That is not the best surface for base coat. I don't care what you say, it is not the best surface. So epoxy, couple of coats, and then wet flat, and then you're ready. Right, so it's fucking freezing in here and it spunks. He's gone all quiet. He don't like being on camera. So this has been next to in the reception room, warming up, heating up. 5 to 1, 20% as per TDS for standard sanding, not a wet on wet. So 20%, blah blah blah, all stand-up products.
The keys in the summer.
So we're gonna just fucking get this mixed up again, going through my primer gun 1.8 because it laid lovely last time, and we're actually going to be able to film some of the spraying as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Just takes ages to mix and stinks of fish.
Don't even.
I'm not.
Don't
I'm
even.
not saying now. I ain't saying now about your previous. Well, I'm not even going to say conquests because I really aren't.
Let's not go there.
Whatever.
Mistakes.
So, as you can see, we are masked up. We are ready to go. Air vents on. Gun set. Tap rag. So I'm just going to blow everything off now. We're going to do 2 full coats of epoxy on this. So should be good. That's straight. We'll try and get it on a proper wet coat. So first coat's gone down mid. Try to get the second coat down. Two coats of the Standox epoxy sealer, 5:1, 20% reduction, so that makes this sandable, which is what we want, because we are not done perfecting this surface yet. Although I must say, holy fuck, is it straight. It's so damn straight, it's unbelievable. That work fucking paid off. Just look at it. She's gorgeous. Do you mean? Absolutely gorgeous. So now we're going to bake this off for an hour or so. Wet flap 600 grit. And then we've got the perfect surface for our base coat. Boom. Right, so here we go. We've not filmed a lot of this. You guys have seen us mask a million times, so there's just really kind of not much point. But all that blocking, all that sanding, all that careful preparation has come down to this. All of an hour. It'll take us like an hour to paint. This is a crazy thing. So we've remasked, cleaned up, first wipe, so we're going to do the second now, gloves on, with our cloths, the DuPont cloths, and our quartz silicone remover, and that will be the final thing. Now obviously with these, this is off paint lids, so just put them through and link them up, stops the wings from falling. LED lights are moving. Happy days, man, happy days. Right, so I've just pulled it out of the booth now. Wiped everything down. And this is what you should have, really, let's face it. A reflection like that off of white. Now you've got to use good products. Don't be under any illusion you can just cut and buff your way. If the clear coat is no good, you won't get it.